your decision to run, was it your decision? Was it a party decision? Did people approach you, or...?
No, it was my decision. There was a number of factors, obviously. I mean, it's something I never even thought about initially. It didn't even enter my mind. And then people started saying it to me. People said that they would support me if I decided to run. People said that they, would come out and canvass. And I kind of started to think about it, and I spoke to my family about it. And I think they had thought about it before I did, because they were ready to talk about it at that stage. And I suppose it got to a point where I decided to approach Fine Gael and ask them would they be willing to back me if I decided to go for it. And they were behind me, and my family are behind me. And we're here now. We had the convention Thursday night. It went very well. I really didn't expect as many people to be there. And it just shows the amount of passion and the amount of people out there that are still, willing to fight for this seat and willing to back me, which is great. And it was really encouraging, the amount of support we had the other night.
You're coming into a by-election at a very critical time for the government, and a lot of people are saying that this by-election will be somewhat of a report card, that people will, give their verdict on where the government's going. And it is a tough time. We're facing austerity policies. And I suppose, how do you think you'll deal with that negative criticism? Would you be able for maybe doors being slammed in your face?
Well, look, I've spent the last 3 days, our campaign kicked off on Friday, and I've spent the last 3 days meeting as many people as possible, knocking on as many doors as possible. And so far the response has been good. I mean, people are reasonable. People understand that they elected this government to do a job, and they are doing that job as far as I'm concerned. They're making tough decisions. They've had to make decisions that no previous government has ever had to make. And I think people are well aware of this. I mean, I've canvassed through 2 elections with Dad, and I'm well aware that you might get the odd door slammed in your face, or, you might be at somebody's door for a couple of minutes. But I think the main focus is just to listen to what people have to say and be honest with them. And, people respond well to that. They respond well when you're honest with them, when you listen to what their issues are and take them on board. And that's what we're trying to do, and that's what I've been trying to do. What
do you think are the biggest issues for you then? Meath East is a strange constituency in one way. You have the commuter belt in the south of the constituency, the rural part then of the north. But for you, I suppose if you could pick 3 top issues, what are they for you?
Well, I think you're right. I think we're kind of like chalk and cheese with either end of the constituency. One of the first ones I suppose I'd focus on, and it is a broad subject, but it's quite important to me. I'm 26 years old. I've already seen a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends, a lot of neighbours leaving this country, whether they're in London, whether they're in Australia. Some of them have gone to Canada. And, we don't want this happening. We don't want a situation where we have a generation gap, where in 20 years' time we have people living abroad that should have been living at home. Obviously, one of the ways we can tackle this is by our government. One of their main focuses is job creation, and that's something I'd like to focus on in Meath East. I stressed that at my speech the other night in the convention. We have a lot of talented and creative and hardworking people in Meath East. And again, I think the food fair we held last year in Kells is a testament to that. There's a lot of great businesses, a lot of businesses that just need a bit of a push, a bit of assistance, a bit of funding, just a nod in the right direction. And that would be something I'd be very interested, or very, very keen to pursue if elected.
There has been criticism of the government, and your party colleague Damien English has spoken to us about this before, but the lack of IDA investment in Meath, the lack of those big companies, the big jobs in recent times have been coming to the likes of Louth. Where can Meath make its advantage, or Meath East in particular as a constituency, in attracting those big foreign direct investments?
Well, I mean, I think we're not doing too bad, considering we are a commuter county and we are next to Dublin, so we have been able to take advantage of those bigger companies that have come into Dublin, say more so than other counties would have been able to, which is a great advantage to us. As you said, we've the likes of PayPal and them have been put into Louth as well recently. So I think, well, specifically for Meath East, I mean, shows like the Meath Food Showcase that we had last year, it just it pinpoints what we have here in Meath and what we have to offer. And I think if people see that and more things like that happening in Meath East, more shows, more show off what we have, really show the talent that we have and make people see that it's it's a great county to start up a business in. We have a lot of people who are willing to work. The youth employment rate in Meath, I think, is at 30%, which is something, again, I'm not very happy about. So we have a lot of people here willing to work, ready to work, with great qualifications. And I think we just need to stress that.
I suppose the other big issue from our perspective, I suppose, from my opinion, in looking at what we talk about here on the programme a lot, and it's maybe a smaller issue in the eyes of I suppose the government in a way, but the issue of roads infrastructure, the state of the roads in North Meath.
I know what you mean, yeah.
You're a resident of Nobber, you know firsthand what it's like to drive on the roads, but those type of things, the investment in government in the likes of infrastructure, and how frustrating it is for people to get around, and we're being told the whole time, well, the money's just not there, the cuts have to be made.
Well, I mean, as you said, I'm from Meath. You take your life into your own hands. Some of the roads you go, I went into Kells, the back road there by Fletcherstown Church not too long ago, and it's like driving on the moon. I mean, it's we're well aware of that. Thankfully, Minister Varadkar met with members of the council from Meath last week, and not just Meath, from around the entire country, and he has now given permission to county councils to, I suppose, to reallocate or to use funds of up to 30% on their roads, which it does mean that we're going to be able to put more money towards them. There's been a €100,000 fund allocated to road drainage. I mean, I think we all know the west winter and summer we've had. It's been disastrous. So, I mean, if we can put that into place, we're obviously limited in manpower. I mean, that's no secret. But if we can get them put into place and start working from the roads that need them the most, that's the best we can do at the moment. As you said, we are limited with resources, but I think this new allocation will help improve the roads greatly in Meath and in the rest of the country.
The government has a big year ahead of it in terms of the X-Case legislation, and there are already posters in the constituency calling for people to stop our TDs and pictures of your party colleagues. I suppose asking people not to allow them to legislate for that. What's your position on abortion? Do you agree with the X-Case legislation that's being brought in by the government?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there should be legislation to protect the life of the mother. I think this should have been done a while ago now, and I'm delighted that this government has decided to deal with this. With regards to the rest of it, I haven't seen the legislation. Until legislation comes into place, I can't really comment. It's not something that I would be familiar with until I read it fully.
Can I ask you, do you feel a weight on your shoulders, stepping into, I suppose, your dad's boots? Is there that, do you feel that weight on you, a weight of expectation?
Well, I mean, I don't think I could ever fill his boots. I mean, I think anybody will agree with me that they were size 19 boots, and I wouldn't even get near it. But the amount of people who have come out to support me and my family to support me, I think it's just given me the push, and it's made me even more determined that, I want to be here, and I want to not only continue his work and to continue what he's done, but to make my voice heard and to become a fresh new voice for not only the people in Meath East, but for younger people around Ireland as well. Fianna Gael is a very very much encouraging people, youth orientated, I can't think of the word, very youth orientated, and I would hope to be able to represent the people of Meath East.
Equally, do you think that, because as you mentioned, those kind of campaigns, and I know there are comments being made online, and that was something that was commented about in the wake of your father's death, yes, but does that weight then equally the negative side of that way?
As far as I'm concerned, I don't, if I read any of those comments, I read them and I forget about them. That's it. If people want to get nasty, and people will be, and that's par for the course, as you said earlier. Why would you go into this when people are going to be having a go at you or attacking you? Look, you have to have a thick skin in this game, and I'm you grow on daily, I think, as well. But no, it doesn't faze me, to be honest. I'm not going to get into spats with people. It's not who I am. It's not my style. It's not who my dad was either. It's, I don't think that's what politics is about. I think it's about doing what you can for your constituents, working for your people, on behalf of your people. And, if you get that along the way, so be it.
Helen McEntee, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We will be talking to you further. You'll be joining us for our roundtable debates with all the other candidates. So thank you very much for joining us in studio this morning.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.